how all that happened just because two of the employees of PNB, one DM and a clerk, just two people, gave the LOUs, letter of undertaking. Letter of undertaking is a guarantee. The guarantee to Nirav Modi and his companies without following the processes and without getting the collateral and the cash reserves. So let's start, student. Let me tell you how all that happened. All that happened from Fountain branch of PNB in the Mumbai. So what is an LOU? What is an LOU? LOU is a bank guarantee. It is simply a bank guarantee. Suppose there is an importer. Suppose he is an importer in India, and he wants to import products from, let's say, Belgium. He wants to import diamond from Belgium, to India. So how the person in India is going to pay the person in diamond? There is no such cash transaction. At the time of making the deal, what the person in India do, he gets an LOU, and in simple terms we call it LC. He gets an LOU, the letter of undertaking or the guarantee, from his bank. He goes to bank and gets the LOU, and then he shows this LOU to the exporter, and which acts as a guarantee that in case the importer is not making the payment, the bank will make the payment, right? Then the exporter will send the diamonds or the products to the importer. So that's how all this works. LOU is nothing but the guarantee by the bank. Why the bank should give the guarantee to somebody, right? So I even know that my father was in the business of purchasing the flat machinery. They used to buy the flat machineries of like a few years back, let's say 30 lakh rupees from Germany. So whenever they go to their bank and ask for an LOU, or the bank manager used to call it LC, the bank would ask for the cash reserve in the bank account, the cash reserve or the collateral. What is in your, suppose if my father had a property, the bank would ask, please give us collateral or cash reserve. In case the importer refuses to make the payment to exporter, the bank is going to make the payment, because bank is a guarantor here. So why the bank is going to take your guarantee? There is a process. So either you need to provide the cash reserve in your account, or there should be a collateral. The collateral can be a property, it can be any sort of property actually. But in this case, there are two persons, a DM and a clerk of PNB, who didn't follow this process, who didn't ask for cash reserve and collateral, who didn't ask for this. They simply gave the guarantee to the person, to the companies, by getting the bribe maybe. I'm not sure about that. Till now the reports are telling us that they got the bribe, just two people. And what happened next? After getting this LOU, the importer didn't go to the exporter, right? They didn't buy the diamonds with that LOU. Instead of that, this person went to Hong Kong to the foreign branches, abroad branches of Indian banks like Allahabad Bank, Axis Bank, and asked for money in lieu of LOUs. And when those Indian banks, they confirmed from the Indian branch of PNB by using the SWIFT, the Indian branch confirmed, the same two person confirmed, yes, this LOU is legit, while there was no record in CBS. Are you getting me? How that scam was happening? Two persons give the guarantee that yes, that bank is giving the guarantee, but there was no record in the CBS, core banking solution, where all the transaction must be recorded, but there was no record there. Okay, and the importers, Mr. Modi, Nirav Modi, he took these LOUs, he took these guarantees and shown these guarantees to the abroad branches of Indian banks and took money from those banks. And those banks, Axis Bank, Allahabad Bank, they actually confirmed from the Indian branch via SWIFT. So what was the loophole here? The SWIFT and CBS were not integrated in PNB. In most other banks, the CBS and SWIFT are integrated. But in case of PNB, it was not integrated. They paid a big price. So the name of the deputy manager was Gokulnath Shetty. So he was a man. He used his access to the SWIFT messaging system. We call it SWIFT messaging system used by banks for the overseas transactions to authenticate the guarantees given on LOU. He authenticated that. First of all, he gave the false LOUs and then he gave false, first of all, he gave false LOUs and then he authenticated it. He authenticated these guarantees. In most other banks, it is not even possible because the SWIFT system and the CBS, the SWIFT system and CBS, they are integrated. But in case of PNB, it was not integrated. So the Gokulnath Shetty, he had an access to the SWIFT system. He was a DM. So he authenticated the LOUs. While there was no entry in the CBS, CBS is the core banking solution. Each of the, whenever there is a big ticket entry, whenever there is a big ticket, a big transaction, that transaction is flagged so that the people at the headquarters, they can oversee what is happening at the branch levels. But that was that transaction was not available on the CBS. So based on such authentications, overseas branches of several Indian banks, they give forex credit. The basis of such LOUs that the PNB is guaranteeing that yes, PNB is second largest PSU bank in India. When PNB is guaranteeing that we will pay the money in case this person is not paying, all that foreign branches, abroad branches, they were ready to, give the forex loan to these companies. So how and when it came to light, right? So there was two cases, right? Two scenarios that actually happened. The first one, the fraud actually happened when the Modi's companies, Solar Exports, Stellar Diamonds, and the diamonds are US, went again to PNB. For your kind information, exactly 140 plus LOUs were issued to the companies related to Mr. Modi, Nirav Modi. Okay, 140 plus LOUs were issued to Nirav Modi during this period from 2011 to 2015. Normally, the period of LOU revolves around 90 to 180 days. But whenever one LOU was expiring, a new LOU was issued. So fraud was discovered when these companies, Solar Exports, Stellar Diamond and Diamond RUS, went to PNB again and asked for a LOUs again. But this time they discovered that you didn't provided us the collateral. They got a reply that please provide us collateral. Please, there is no cash reserve. How we can give you the guarantee now? How we can give you the loan now? That was the case. But see what these companies, how these companies replied. These companies said, till now we never provided any kind of collateral or cash reserve. Still we were getting the LOUs. Why you are asking now? We are getting the LOUs from a long time. Why now? So that's why the PNB made a case with CBI. That's why. Because of this reply, everybody was in shock. The second point, that's all was happening in January 2018, this year. That all was actually happening in month of January 2018. In the mid-January, these two actually things happened in the January, when earlier LOUs were matured and foreign branches didn't get their money. They then turned to PNB to ask for the money. See, the Nirav Modi actually took the loans worth rupees 2,000, 2,500,000 from Allahabad Bank, Axis Bank, and the SBI also. He took the loan, but he didn't pay. Obviously, the PNB issued the LOU, although those were false LOUs, but these banks confirmed from the Mumbai branch of PNB and via SWIFT, and that branch confirmed that these LOUs are legit. So they turned to PNB that give our money back. So these are the two cases. These are the two, turning points. So what action PNB has taken? PNB has suspended 10 employees and referred the case to CBI and ED. So are other banks are affected? Yes, of course. The banks from which Mr. Nirav Modi and his companies took the loans, such as he took an estimated of 2,000 to 2,200 crore of loans from Allahabad Bank, the Hong Kong branch of Allahabad Bank, Union Bank 2,000 to 2,300 crores, Axis Bank 2,000 crore, and State Bank of India 960 crores. So these are the major lenders to Mr. Nirav Modi. And Union Bank of India is already in big troubles, right? And now they are losing this much of money. So several Indian banks with overseas bank will be impacted, as they have provided loans based on these LOUs. And PNB is right now denying the liability, claiming that these LOUs were fraudulent. Even if PNB agrees to pay, how PNB is going to pay 11,400 crore rupees? It is a big money. The value of PNB, the total net worth of PNB is around 33,000 crore. So the fraud is actually worth 1/3 of the PNB's net worth. How the PNB is going to pay for this? At the end of the day, the common man of India is going to pay for this. There is FRDI bill. Remember, there is FRDI bill. If a bank goes bankrupt, right? If a bank bankrupts, the depositors are going to pay for this. It's not the government. It is the common man who's going to pay. In case, right now I just got a news that the PNB is going to pay this much money to all the banks, and in case the PNB is paying this much money, the net profit of PNB is, I think, 1,325 crore rupees last year. The annual profit of PNB was 1,325 crore rupees. That is the annual profit of PNB. And the value of fraud is 11,400 crores. In case the PNB goes bankrupt, who's going to pay? The employees of PNB are going to pay. The depositors who deposited their lifelong earning with the PNB, they are going to pay. The government is not going to pay for this. So here are the numbers. The government was expected to infuse 5,473 crore rupees in PNB's equity. And the fraud is 8 times the bank's profit. The bank's annual profit is 1,325 crore, while the value of fraud is 11,400 crores. So the shares of PNB, they used to be in, I think, December 15, the value of PNB's share was like 217 rupees. Right now the value of PNB's share is 125 rupees right now. On the day when this news came out, the shares of PNB went down by 18%. The hard-earned money of investors that was gone. So that is a big problem. So let's see what Mr. Modi is going to do now. And yes, Nirav Modi and his family fled the country. Even the Gitanjali jewelers, Gitanjali gems actually, he's the uncle of Mr. Nirav. He's actually its owner, Mr. Choksi. He's I think uncle of Nirav Modi. So sad story for Indian depositors and public of India. I hope the CBI and the government of India is going to take strong actions. Till now, we got a news that jewelry worth of 5,100 crores are seized from the showrooms and the offices of Mr. Nirav Modi's companies. So that is a good news, and Mr. Nirav Modi actually contacted